Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Esteban Hours Week in Review, where we come together and we discuss our opinions on last week's current events and breaking news. You know, it's never a dull moment around here, folks, and there's always a topic of discussion, always, whether we like it or not, right? Well, what we have for last week is Biden, who has said he plans to announce what his plans are for 2024. And we're going to see what his plans are going to be either Tuesday or the following week. We also have evacuations, mandatory evacuations by the U.S. Embassy in Sudan. Amidst all of the fighting and stuff out there. What about the shootings? Another week of shootings. 6-year-old girl being shot as she's playing outside in regards to a basketball rolling into someone else's yard. How about that birthday party, that Sweet 16 birthday party, where several people came in shooting up the place, and I believe at least one died and multiple people were hurt. What about the driveway murder? How do you accidentally pull into someone's driveway to come right back out because you realized you made a mistake? You're at the wrong address, and boom, your life is over. It's devastating, completely devastating. How about the young lady who accidentally got into someone else's vehicle, quickly realized that she was not in her own car, apologized, and because of that, her passenger was shot? You can't make this stuff up. These are truths, not lies. And it's sad to say, only in America, right? Made only in America. Jim Jordan, he visited New York City last week in regards to crime. Now, I don't know what the hell he's doing here in New York City. First of all, he's an Ohio congressman. You have no business here. And second of all, you're here regarding crime. We're going to talk about that. Then we have the abortion pill that's been saved by the Supreme Court. But was it really saved, or is there an ulterior motive that's cooking up by the Supreme Court in regards to the abortion pill? Hunter Biden's lawyers have gone to DOJ asking for an update. And then we have Mr. Governor DeSantis himself, who secretly signed into law a 6-week ban. I say 10, 11 o'clock at night. It wasn't good enough to broadcast as he's done in the past. This one needed to be tucked under the pillow or the mattress, so to speak. But first, let's bring in our weekly commentator, Mr. Jeremy. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good, man. I'm chomping at the bit to get talking about this stuff. What is going on in America right now? It is absolute insanity.
Absolute insanity. right?
The one thing I think about, and I don't, and most people probably don't think about. I'm just weird, but I think about like what other countries must think of us.
Oh yeah.
Like we have to be absolute. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke right now that what's happening in our country.
Well, I mean, how long are we going to maintain the status of being the number one country in the world, the best country in the world, the freest country in the world? How long is that stature going to remain with us, with Americans, with the United States? Because we're doing bad. We're doing bad.
No, well, like we talked about. Remember on Paul's show, we talked about this. We're not the freest country in the world. As a matter of fact, we're number 20. There's a it's cato.org.
Yeah,
There's something
I
called the
and I think it
Freedom
said
Index.
number
Yep,
26, right on the list.
23rd. Okay, it measures what countries' freedoms based on all kinds of different metrics.
Hmm.
It's a serious thing. Okay, 2022, we're down 7 spots to 23rd in freedom. And what blew me away is Germany, I believe, was 20th. And they've only been around for like 80 years since they got rid of, the Nazis and Hitler.
Yeah,
And they're freer than
yeah,
us. And we fought against the Nazis for them to be free. And we're not, it
it's
blows my
crazy.
mind. It
It's
blows my
it's
mind. We're not the freest country in the world.
no,
Not even close.
no. And the crazy thing about it is that I thought that things would get better once Trump came out of office, because during the 4 years of Trump, at least in my opinion, when I was traveling, the world thought that we were crazy then. They thought that we were stupid, and that we had a stupid leader. And that's not just my opinion, that's actual facts from people that I spoke to from other countries who would tell me what their folks were saying about America at that time. But since then, it's seemed, I don't know if I want to say it's gotten worse, but it has in certain elements
I
because of
think
what
what
the
most
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, what most people I always think like they always think like as soon as another president takes over, everything changes immediately. Like I don't think people realize that this is the dumpster fire aftermath of Donald Trump. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? These are the repercussions of all of his actions, and he still continues right now. But
Right. But it's not just
I
because
knew,
of
I knew.
him, it's because of his
No,
people
no.
that are prolonging what he's been doing, right?
Right, it's like we can't move on. They're not allowing us to move on. And Biden, I think, I don't agree with everything that he does or says, but I have to admit the guy is low key and he's doing his job. He's not getting involved in all the nonsense. You know what I mean? He calls he's smart, he's strategic. And
Right.
the MAGA Republicans have just started, they just blurt everything out, even if it doesn't make sense. Like you were talking about Jim Jordan coming to New York. That didn't make sense. It just
Well,
I don't
let's
see what their plan is,
let
but
let let's go into that since you brought that up. What the hell is he doing in New York City? First of all, he's not a congressman here, right? Second of all, nobody likes him and wants him to be around in New York. So why is he here?
it's just another failed attempt. I don't know who comes up with these plans, but they need to be fired. I mean, these are just the worst ideas ever. As soon as I heard that idea, I'm like, well, that's not going to work. Because as soon as Jim Jordan's, his district is the third highest crime rate in the country.
Right.
In the
Absolutely.
country, all
Absolutely.
of the United States. And
So it
he
makes
wants
you
to talk
wonder,
trash about New York
right,
City, which crime is down.
right.
Statistics,
So it makes
numbers,
you
like
it
they don't
makes you
even.
wonder, you got time to be in somebody else's backyard when statistics show crime in your neighborhood has far exceeded where you're trying to point out of a problem. There's no problem. It's no, there is a problem, but it's a normal problem that has been happening. In his neck of the woods, it's far more out of control. There was even a poll out that had said uh, gun issues are far more prevalent in red states than there are in blue states.
I mean, it is a fact. Again, it's something people could get mad at us for saying, but statistics, I mean, numbers don't lie. The one thing that doesn't lie, not statistics don't lie. I mean, okay, you can
Hmm.
argue with them all you want. You know what I mean? You might get some conflicting numbers,
Right.
but the numbers eventually don't lie.
A- And it's interesting how you say, people could get mad at us saying things like that red states have more crime and stuff. But the way that I feel about it is we wouldn't be saying anything if Jim Jordan minded his own business, right? Would we
Right.
bring out the crime rate in Ohio if Jim Jordan never came
No,
to New
probably
York?
not.
No.
Probably. And that's, I mean, that's what I didn't understand. Like, this, he had to know this. It's not like he didn't know his crime rate was through the roof. So why would you even? But you had to know it was going to be scrutinized. That's why I don't understand about his whole plan. It backfired immediately, just like every investigation they do. Just like and I want to remind everybody that's watching now. While these people are wasting time on investigations that go nowhere, looking for Dick. I mean, sorry, Hunter Biden's his sex tape or whatever. You know what I mean? While they're doing all this stuff, I'm trying to censor myself. I told you I was trying to behave, but I couldn't make any promises, man. I told you that. But while they're doing all this stuff, they're getting paid taxpayer salary, and they're not actually doing anything that benefits the American people.
Right,
Nothing. They have done
right,
nothing.
right. And at the end of the day, we all know why he came to New York, to be a distraction um, to the DA um, who indicted Trump on wrongdoing. And again,
Yep.
these are the folks of law and order. Trump did something wrong. Doesn't matter who he did something wrong. And so his friends are going to come and try to antagonize and disrupt the law and order process. The same process that they preach upon, that they are all for. It's
Yeah,
it's sad.
except when it comes to Donald Trump, they want law and order unless it affects one of them. Then they don't like law and order at
Right.
all. It's just like
That's what I was
democracy.
about to say. You
They love
mentioned Donald
democracy.
Trump, but no, unless
Yeah,
it has something to do with one of them in
right.
totality, not
Yeah,
just Donald Trump.
any of them. I
It's
mean,
sad.
the next year and a half or whatever, it's gonna be a nightmare, and things are gonna get worse before they get better. I mean, you can quote me on that right now, and that's why I haven't been posting many videos this week, is because it's been depressing watching this stuff, man. Watching our country rip itself apart. Watching people like Sarah Huckabee talk about repealing segregation laws. I wanted to throw my phone when I read that. And of course, they have this justifiable reason why they should.
Right.
But once you open, that's Pandora's box right there. Once you open that, man, the stuff they could do and get away with uh, would be. I mean, that's the stuff that's happening in states in America, in red states. I hate to say it, but they're happening in red states. There's no blue states trying to
What
pass dumbass stuff like this.
why is it that a lot of these type of laws that the red states are passing that are clearly prejudice, racist, full of bigotry, and on, but then it's sugar coated as if it's for the people's well-being,
Right.
as if it's going to
Uh,
make the people's lives 100% better. How do they do that?
I don't know how they sleep at night. Most of them, I really don't. It makes me sick to my stomach when I read some of this stuff, and this is stuff you should be reading about, like World War II history books, not
Right.
2023 United States of America,
I
when we
mean,
should be
is it?
talking about coming together and moving forward as a country. We're
That's
stuck in
right.
this perpetual cycle of hate, nonsense, lies,
I mean, is it
bigotry.
South Carolina or North Carolina? One of them, one of those states that passed a law or will be passing a law making abortion a death penalty crime.
All right, since we're talking about this, let's talk about the whole pro-life hypocrisy. Okay, I will blow this up right here. Okay. You can't be pro-life if you only care about a kid until it's born. Okay. After a kid is born, if you're not going to help a kid, you're not going to help pay for its school, you're not going to help pay for its clothes, food, whatever, and you're not even going to do anything about guns, kids being killed in school. Okay. So you're talking about death penalty to somebody who has an abortion. So you have pro-life until birth, and then it's death.
Right.
So there is no pro-life. If you're pro-life, you're pro-life, all
Right.
life, like the whole way through.
I
That
asked
that is the
myself the same
one thing that
question.
aggravates me.
I asked myself the same question over and over again. Why is the life or the fetus of an unborn baby far more important than an actual person that is living, eating, and breathing, or an
All right.
actual mother who has already lived 20, 30, 40 years of her life and now might be at risk of losing her life because she can't get the proper health care that she
Right.
would need to save her life. How is it that an unborn a fetus is more important than that? I agree. All life is important, but do we have it a little backwards, or do they have it a little backwards?
Extremely backwards because I mean, if you're not going to protect and help a child, I mean, you see it every day. The amount of racism and bigotry and hate that's going on right now. Like you said, you were talking about the shootings earlier. Um, just that alone, like all this hate that's being spread, this is what it causes. Okay, it causes fear, and once people are afraid, they get angry. When they get angry, then they get dangerous. You know what I mean?
Right.
It trickles down, and people, yeah, the gun violence that we've been going through lately is just. You were talking about it earlier. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. It like we said, violence used to make sense. You know what I mean? At least kinda, but now innocent
So
people are getting killed for nothing.
So we can't knock on the wrong door, and I failed to mention at the beginning the 16-year-old who knocked on the wrong door there to pick up his siblings and was shot twice by an 85-year-old, I believe. So we can't knock on the wrong door. We can't drive into the wrong driveway. We can't send our kids out to the front to go and play, let alone with a ball. We might lose our lives if that ball rolls into someone's yard. We can't accidentally get into the wrong car. We can't go to the supermarket and do our weekly or monthly food shopping. We can't go to school.
You would think it would sink into some heads by now, you know what I mean? But we have some people with some really thick skulls in this country that I don't think are ever gonna change. But like, listen, I
Right.
like I told you, man, I DoorDash for you know what I mean, on the side. And I feel like I'm playing, Grand Theft Auto DoorDash edition. You know what I mean? You never know what's gonna happen, man. You're gonna see me
Right.
running down the street or something. I mean, I live in a small I'm joking, but I mean I live in a small city, so the chances of
If
that
you can
happening is
get
low. But
down the street, if you can get down the street, because remember, we're not talking about pistols. We're talking about AR-15s and military style weapons.
yeah, I mean, they're not for protection. I mean, they're not for hunting. They're designed for war. You know what I mean? Why do you need a weapon of war in your house, and why do you need to use it on people that are just knocking
Right.
on the wrong doors.
Right.
It's but that's what
It's
fear
sad.
does, and that's what
Yeah.
happens when people watch like Fox News. The thing we talked about. Oh, look, I might as well bring it up now. Tucker Carlson. You know what I mean? People watch that all the way through for after Donald Trump got kicked out, the insurrection, and on and on and on until all the truth finally came out. I mean, there are elderly people that are out there that are probably Republican, and then they pick a station, and they believe they don't do research, okay, on the internet. They believe what they are told from the news because the news used to tell the truth. That was the one thing. I mean, they would spin a story to make it more interesting, but you know what I mean? For the most part, the news is supposed to tell the truth. So you've got this elderly gentleman who is freaked out by all the stuff he's been seeing. He thinks the country's been taken over. Like, this is what this guy actually believes. You know what I mean?
Who are you referring to by elderly person?
I'm sorry, like the old man that shot the kid for knocking on the wrong door.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I read that he watched nothing but Fox News. You know what I mean? He bought into the whole conspiracy that
Right.
there was
That's what the grandson said, right?
yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
Yeah, but
uh,
I understand exactly what you were referring to. But you touched in on Tucker Carlson. It's curtains for him. It's absolute curtains for Mr. Carlson. Long way overdue. But the time is over. What I'm amazed at, which I know in time, more and more information will come out. But for someone who, quote unquote, has done so well, and has such high ratings on that show, he was let go abruptly. And was not even allowed to say goodbye to his audience members. Friday apparently was his last show. So it's bewildering to me that such a person that made Fox News so much money um, is out just like that.
I think we'll find out more in the coming days because it was abrupt. Because they showed a clip. I watched a clip of his last episode on
Yeah,
Friday, and he did not look like a person who knew he was about to leave the network. You know what I mean?
yeah,
He looked like everything was business as usual. So,
that's right.
but the part that blew me away, and I just thought of this while you were talking about it, is about how Newsweek reported that one of the Russian news networks actually offered Tucker Carlson a job. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and what's the here? I just thought of this. He had private access to the Capitol footage, and now he's got Russians approaching him. Listen, think of what I'm saying. He had private, unrestricted access to that Capitol footage. Who knows if there's copies out there
Of course.
now?
I mean, my opinion, of course, there's
Yeah,
copies on there.
there has
And
to be
and
now.
and that footage was given to Tucker Carlson as an anchor or journalist of Fox News. Um, do you think that now that he's not there, that secretive information, that classified information, or camera footage is gonna go
Mm.
with him, or is it gonna stay at Fox News?
That just is a theory that popped into my head, but at this point, I wouldn't put it past anybody at
Me
Fox
neither.
News to do something. I wouldn't. They haven't told the truth in how long now? You know what I mean? It's just, and how do you get fired from Fox News?
Right.
What did he do? Did he run through the hallways naked or something? Like, what did he have to
You
like?
know,
Apparently, lying doesn't get you fired. I mean, if I
apparently not.
recollect, lying usually gets you fired from a job. Apparently,
Yes.
lying at Fox News gets you better jobs.
Elevated.
Promotion. Oh, that
Yes.
was a great story. Let's put
And
him
and
prime time.
and and all the award trophies that you could possibly get. You know,
Yeah.
since
What?
the settlement came out with Dominion against Fox News, for $6.5
Woo.
million. I've reflected a lot of the past in regards to Fox News. Um, I remembered I watched Fox News in the past a lot as an independent. Um, in fact, one of the shows I enjoyed was Bill O'Reilly. Now, I didn't agree with half the things that he said, but I liked his talk show. I liked
Mm-hmm.
his one on ones and his interviews that he had, and I found him very educated and intelligent, smart.
Right.
They don't have many shows that way. Even Hannity was different then. He was
They.
less um unworthy or untruthful
Mm-hmm.
at that time, and it was okay to see what was on his mind, to see who was he was interviewing. But today, Fox News is just totally, in my opinion, not
Yeah.
journalism.
It's not, man. Come on. You cannot call that journalistic integrity and with a straight face. I can't even say it. I can't.
Right,
There's nothing like that. They don't even know what that means. And
right,
that was one of the things they said they were going to continue to do in their letter.
right.
Because I was actually mad that Dominion settled, man. Dominion should have drugged their asses through the mud. They had them cold. Come on. I'm not an attorney, but even I was looking at the evidence like, damn. You know what I mean? The text messages, the emails, like, come on. And when they settle, I'm like, oh, no, just take them down. But they still have multiple other big lawsuits ahead of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's other lawsuits that Dominion has against Fox News. This was just the defamation lawsuit. There's other
Mhm.
lawsuits. And then there's also the Smartmatic lawsuit, which is like it's even bigger than, and they've already said that we're not settling for anywhere near that. They said that was a benchmark. They said if they're going to pay that, I hope they go all the way through. But
And don't forget the systematic lawsuit against them as well.
Smartmatic,
Smartmatic.
Smartmatic.
I'm
Yep,
sorry. Thank you. Smartmatic. And also the lawsuit from the employee that they fired.
that's right. That's right. They have that the shareholder one. Oh my god, I don't see how they. But see, you know what? They're still on the air. There seems to have been no repercussions because they're still doing the same thing they've been doing.
You think they can go bankrupt?
If enough people, I mean, with all the evidence from this first case, I don't see. I mean, it depends if they keep their base. It's all about the ratings and the advertisements and the money that comes in. You know what I mean? If they could keep the money coming in, they could. Yeah, they don't have an unlimited amount of cash on hand to pay out for settlements. You know what I mean? They only have, I think, like 4 or 5 billion in only. Shit. Only
Right.
4 or 5 billion, but you know what I mean. They just paid out 3/4 of a billion. You know, if they go over two or over a billion on the next one or 2 billion on the next one, or whatever, it could. If it happens fast enough, I think it could bankrupt them. I mean, possibly, but it just all depends on how much money they keep bringing in on all that
So
nonsense.
so do you find this news of Tucker Carlson being fired shocking or sad?
I find it sad that people like Lauren Boebert are like, we stand with Tucker Carlson. Like, you idiot. Why would you say something like that? Ah, you know what I mean? There's people praising, oh, we're with Tucker Carlson. Like, okay, where's Tucker Carlson? Doesn't have a whole lot of job offers except from Russia. I can't imagine CNN's going to hire him or MSNBC or any one of those people. But he'll figure out a way to weasel money out and still live his lifestyle. I mean, he'll probably do an independent podcast or something, or people will have him on
Right.
just to be controversial and find out what happened.
And I gave him a chance in watching his program, but I felt his program was always negative against the American people. I just couldn't. I could like everything, whatever one party felt or believed in, he did the opposite. It didn't matter if his side believed that too. I mean, he's just
Mm.
ran with this Russia Ukraine thing, putting Russia on a pedestal as if they're the ones being
That's
wiped out. I mean,
that's what I
it,
mean. And then their buddy, their leader Trump, there is always talking about how he's good buddies with the worst people in the
in the
world.
world,
Your leader, oh, buddy with the leader from China, oh, buddy
yeah,
with the leader from North Korea. That's not a good thing. Okay, but and they, yeah, this
and
pro.
and even if he did have good relationships with them, why is it um why was it put on a pedestal for them to publicize it, okay, with these dictators or these people that are starving their peoples and refusing freedoms to their own people? Why not keep it to yourself instead of publicizing it to the world as if that relationship was good, was positive, was to be envied?
You know what's funny? He never talked about any other leaders that way. He always talks about those. And I mean, let's be honest. The whole Tucker Carlson Fox News thing, they should call it faux news, like FAUX. Because it's literally a propaganda network. Like, look, we are repeating history. I'll say it now. Okay. If you want to look back in history, go to World War II Germany. Okay. Propaganda at this level has never been done before. Okay.
Right,
To the point where 25 to 30% of our population believe what comes out of these people's mouths.
right,
Okay. That's, they've gotten into people's heads to the point where they believe everything they say. And that's what's causing all the violence. You know what I mean? They're just
right,
perpetuating this stuff.
right. That's right. That's right. All right. Moving on. Another firing. Mr. Don Lemon from CNN. After 17 years of anchoring on that platform. I will say this was a bit of breaking news that was very shocking and sad to me. Um, I started watching politics when Obama um, ran for office, right?
Hmm.
And because of that, I watched a lot of CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News at that time. So I'm very, very used to seeing Don Lemon every night, every day. I'm one of those that enjoyed
Hmm.
prime time, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I enjoyed watching him. Some people felt that he was on the air for too long, 2, 3 hours every night, but I enjoyed it. I never felt that there was a dull moment, or
Hmm.
that he talked crap. He always had food for thought. So this was very
Hmm.
shocking to me. What are your thoughts?
I'm not overly familiar. Like, what happens? Like when you said it, when Obama took office, that's when I first started just noticing politics. I really never paid attention before. I never cared. I'll be honest. A lot of people don't. And I hope that changes here soon. I really hope that changes
Right.
because people really need to care right now. Um, and then when Trump took office, I got so tired of what came out of his mouth that I completely just shut the news out completely. I stopped watching altogether. I didn't look it up on social media. I didn't even have a social media account. And then I've literally taken the last 6 months as like a crash course on politics, on what the news, because each news station seems to have their own agenda, which is fine, except for the one that Fox News has. I mean, I don't know what their agenda is. I don't understand it. I don't think anybody understands it at this point. So I'm not overly familiar with it. I mean, what was the controversy? Did you get in some controversial stuff lately with? Uh,
Well, yeah, he has gotten involved in a couple of things. There was a little back and forth between him and his co anchor. Um, oh God, forgive me. How could I forget her name? And I love her.
Yeah, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I got nothing for you on this one.
Back in December of last year, something about that he yelled at her, and she wasn't happy with that at all. And she
Oh.
expressed her unhappiness with that. Um, and then what made it even worse is when presidential candidate Nikki Haley announced that she was running, and he on air said something to the effect that she was past her prime. That I guess maybe that she was past her time or something to run for president, when many thought that that was ridiculous because she's only I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, in her 50s.
He'll. I'm sure he'll. I mean, maybe he'll retire, but he'll probably pop up somewhere. I'm sure. I mean, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, they always
They
they always do.
I think. I
Chris
think we'll see the
Cuomo
certain more.
is an anchor on Newsmax right now.
Ugh, that's another channel that shouldn't exist. That's even worse than Fox. Like, if I, what I've never met anybody that watches Newsmax. Like, I don't know what I would do if I met somebody. Where do
I
you get your
watch
news from?
Newsmax here and there. You know who I thought was worse than Newsmax? I thought Owen was worse than Newsmax.
Really, I never. Yeah, never watched. I mean, oh, these channels are just dedicated to tearing this country apart. That's what they're doing. They're taking a small percentage. I mean, they're
Well,
taking enough people and turning them against their own country. Is
I
basically
mean
what they're doing.
that might be true, but in defense of them, many of these channels have um um they have a goal set in mind, and that's where they work to. CNN and MSNBC do the same thing, just in the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for a moment when we can watch some real news that is in the middle, that shows a
Mm.
little bit of the
See.
good and bad of Democrats
Yeah.
and a little bit of the good and bad of Republicans, but no
Mhm.
lying. Don't tell me that the sky is green and I'm looking dead at it and it's blue.
I know. Right? I swear. I swear. Some people would believe anything. You know what I mean? Like some people would even buy anything, like Donald Trump's new NFT cards. Like people actually buy that stuff. They're so stupid, man. Come on.
Yeah, I
You
get
know they're
messages for that all the time.
$99. Sorry, this is a little sidetrack here. But you know they're $99 a piece,
I heard.
and you can't even pick which one you buy. They just random. And then come to find out, Trump hoards all the best ones. I don't know what he's man.
Are you
But
shocked?
people spend money on this stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Just like they spend money on his grifting and things of that sort, and watch him go and spend it on his McDonald's.
Yeah, like stop donating to a billionaire. If he's a billionaire, then stop giving him money. He's got billions with a
But he
B.
doesn't.
Most people don't have hundreds, and they're giving him money. You know,
But he
sorry.
doesn't have billions.
No, it's all. Yeah, we're finding that out now. And you know what? That's what I wanted to say about the. There's YouTube is a good place if you pick the right channels. There are a lot of channels on YouTube, like the Midas Touch Network. There's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen. And there's a couple other ones that I watch, and they're dedicated to fact checking and breaking things down. Like they'll do legal breakdowns of cases, and they'll get a letter and they'll break down the letter paragraph by paragraph. I mean, there's a lot of places that are dedicated, not on TV, to facts.
Right.
Okay, not right or left. They're not right. Okay,
On your
and
hardware, you're
they're
just
in
gonna
I would
type
say
one
they're
five
about as
zero
close to
if
the
you
middle
like
as you could
that
possibly
one.
get. But they're yes, they
Right.
talk about the right a lot because the right are the ones lying. It's not us. We're the ones actually trying to present the truth.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, because I get that a lot from my Republican friends as well. As a camouflage, that they bring out, a lot of the things that the Democrats do that the Republicans are doing too. But
Mm-hmm.
what stays in my mind, my rebuttal is always, yeah, but you're doing it most. Yes, they lie for every 10 lies that you give. They
Right,
cheat,
right.
but for every cheat they do, you've done 5. And
Right.
regardless that they've done the 5, they'll still point out the very one time that the other side.
They have what I call it the whatabouts. They have the whatabouts. As soon as you say something to them, they're like, "Well, what about this? What about Hunter Biden's laptop? Okay, well, what about it?" And then they don't say, you know what I mean? And every time you present a fact, they say, "Well, what about this?" Okay, it's not relevant to what we're talking about
It's
right now.
not
Okay,
relevant.
answer the damn question I just asked you. Don't answer my question with a damn question.
It's not relevant to what we are talking about.
No, no, stop it. You're driving me insane.
All right, let's
But
move
yeah,
on. All right, President Obama, excuse me. Woo. President Biden
yes.
may announce that he's going to run for re-election for 2024. What are your thoughts?
I think we need the continuity. I think he has to stay in office for us to even try and move forward from all this ridiculousness that's going on right now. I was a little concerned about his age.
Well, I was just about to
However,
say that, because 70% of Americans or of Democrats believe that he should not.
mhm, right. However, I mean, I think he could win. And I want people to keep in mind that Kamala's there waiting, and she's solid. Okay, whatever. I don't care what people say. Okay, she's solid. She's behind the scenes. Okay, there's a plan in place because Biden could step down. People don't, you know what I mean? Biden could win re-election and then halfway through it step down, and Kamala would take over. I mean, that could happen.
I mean, it could happen, but that's not what I'm
No,
sure that's not
no.
what the
I'm
majority
saying
of the Americans would want. If they're going to elect a president, they want that
no.
president to serve his 4 year
No, I'm saying
term.
if it were for like health reasons, if he had to step down, like I'm not saying he would just be like, "Peace, I'm out." You know what I mean? Like I'm out of here. But
Right.
no, if he for health reasons, because of his age, Kamala's solid. You know what I mean? The people he has in place are solid. They're not like the Trump administration where he was just putting his buddies in random places. Like the architect of the Capitol building wasn't even an architect or a historian. Like that's the people he had in place. And I mean, so even if something were to happen to Biden because of his health, because of his age, there's everything's in place, I think, for there to be continuity. I think some people would try and seize the moment. I mean, I don't. It depends on the next election. I mean, people got to pay attention to what's going on because it's literally democracy or dictatorship. What do you want? Pick one. That's your options right now. It's not
I agree
Republican or
with that.
Democrat. It's not left
Democracy
or
or
right.
dictatorship.
Yeah, those are your choices. Do you want to live in a democracy and fight for freedom, or do you want to live in a dictatorship where they're going to just continue to oppress
Where you
everybody
will
they
have
possibly can?
no freedoms. Yeah.
Right, right. Where they could revoke freedoms at will.
And that's
Those are
that's
your
that's going to
choices.
be what 2024's theme is going to be about: democracy
Yeah.
or dictatorship.
Or we can go democracy or idiocracy. That would work too. Those are your two choices. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie, Idiocracy. Have you ever seen that movie with
Mm-mm.
Luke Wilson? You're not gonna understand the reference. All right, you're gonna have to watch the movie after this.
Okay.
Then you'll laugh. Now you're not laughing because you don't think it's funny, but
Okay.
hopefully somebody watching gets the reference. But no, yeah, I mean, you said it in a past episode. Democracy is on the ballot. It's literally on the ballot.
100%. 100%. 100%. All right. Moving on. Special forces swiftly evacuate the U.S. Embassy staff from Sudan. Seems to be going south over there.
Hmm.
A lot of fighting back and forth, and it was even in the headlines this past week that uh, a Russian plane, has been seen delivering weapons to the militia there. A Russian armed group has been helping them in some form, way, or capacity. I mean, it's devastating to the
Mm-hmm.
innocent people of Sudan, who find themselves in the middle of probably another useless, worthless war that's only gonna take the lives of innocent people and make
Mm-hmm.
the lives of innocent people much worse. What are
That's
your
it. And those
thoughts?
are the people that suffer. It's always the
Yeah,
innocent people in between. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're not the enemy. They're just trying to exist as best possible they can. You know, kind of like in America, we're just trying to exist and do the best possible as best we can without having to worry about things like that. But I mean, I can't even imagine having to walk down the street and know that something could pop off at any moment.
yeah.
That's got to be terrifying. I mean, kids, families, wives, you know,
Could you
it's
see that?
just
Could you see that coming to America?
uh no, I don't think that would happen in America. I mean, I think there. I have a theory about that because of Marjorie Taylor Greene's whole, "Oh, we need a civil war." Yeah, you're high. You're high. What are you smoking? In America, it couldn't happen because I mean there could be a skirmish, but I mean let's be real. In America, you have people with AR-15s in red states. Okay, great. That's about all they have. They have no organization. They have no leadership. They have no structure. They have no logistics. They have no supplies. They don't have a military. You know what I mean? And they don't have a government.
Right.
And let's not forget that red states require most of the financial aid from the U.S. government. This is another fact. It's just statistically correct.
And
And if they
regardless
were to
of that,
disconnect from all that,
their constituents still continue to give them the kudos for how their lives are living, even though they are the ones that are denying everything that their constituents are benefiting from.
mm, I'm tired of seeing politicians do nothing around here. That's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of seeing war in general, man. I mean, it's just look at any part of human history. War does nothing. It gives you intermittent periods of peace, and it's usually sketchy peace at best. That's how most nations hold it. I mean, America right now is the longest running, continuously running government in the world. And we're 247 years old. You know what I mean? And
We're
that's
higher than England.
well, they were under the king. The king ruled, and then they went to like the parliament, and then electing officials
Right,
and stuff
right,
like that.
right.
So they technically had a government change or structure change at least. But we've had democracy the way it is since 1776, and I think that's something to be proud of. But we have people in this country that are trying to destroy that. Like we're supposed to be the example to the world. Like that's why people looked to this country for leadership. That's why we were the leader of the free world. Not, I mean, now, why would they come to us? We're just angry, hateful, bigoted, divided.
Right.
You know
And
what
if
I
you
mean?
talk to these same people, they'll tell you they're not trying to destroy the American experiment. They'll tell you they're not trying to get rid of the Constitution. But
No,
yeah,
they
they
are.
are.
They're violating it directly. Jim Jordan directly, like I can't believe this violation of the 10th Amendment, trying to get involved in state
In
legal
state
affairs.
affairs. Right.
Right. That's the state has authority. I mean, that's in the Constitution. But yet they're disregarding it like it doesn't exist. Like, you know what I mean? And then they're saying they're patriots and they stand for freedom, but they're doing the exact opposite. And
Right.
people are not seeing that. They're
Yep.
they're listening to what they're saying, but they're not watching what they're doing.
Right. Right.
And that's what I hope to change, man. I hope to wake people up a
We
little
all
bit, you know,
we all hope that it changes. All right.
because I mean, they're using Christianity and stuff like that to justify laws about abortion. And I think I'm sorry if I brought it. I'm going to bring it up. The abortion pill. You know what I mean? Literally the safest method that so far has come out. You know, the science is there. It's all there. I've read about it. It's there's no invasive procedures anymore. I mean, it's literally safe. It's effective. But they're like, no, because the Bible says no. What? I mean, you can't impose your religious beliefs because that's the whole freedom of you can't impose your
Right.
religious beliefs on other people. But somehow these people are using them to make
Right.
law.
And that's what it's all about. If you don't want to have an abortion, that's okay. That's absolutely okay, but that's for you. Who are you to force your beliefs, right or wrong, on somebody else? And who
Mhm.
are we to be put as judge and jury against our fellow man? I cringe when I hear people say that God has put me here to save life. No, he didn't. God doesn't need you or me. We are
Right.
dust. Isn't that what the Bible says? All Christians should
Yeah.
know that. We are nothing. God is the most powerful being alive. He doesn't need us. If he wants to wipe out somebody from having abortion, he can do that in the twinkling of an eye. Who are we to pass judgment on our fellow brother and sister who's breathing and bleeding just the same as we are? It's all about politics, not about
But
God and the Bible.
see, I like to, and I also like to point out regarding abortions because I don't get to talk about this subject very much because I'm a dude. But I like to point out, like, imagine what somebody's going through in the first place. The circumstances are there. I mean, people are not looking at circumstances, okay? And of course, they always pick the most extreme scenario. They say, oh, you can't use abortion as birth control. Okay, that's not what's happening. You know what I mean? First of all, somebody finding out they're pregnant that doesn't want to be pregnant, it's got to be shocking enough as it is. Then having to make a decision to have an abortion or not. That's a life-changing moment. That is a defining moment in your life. That can't be that's not something that should be taken lightly, and that is not a choice that should be taken away from a woman.
And not every woman glorifies in the fact that they had an abortion or they
No.
need an abortion.
I know it's not like somebody's coming out of the clinic like, "Oh, I got an abortion today," high-fiving people on the way out, man.
Right.
It's not come on, man. The
Right.
circumstances, man. You gotta get into people's heads and understand they're going through stuff. You know what I mean? Rich and famous people, yeah, of course, they don't get abortions because they can afford nannies. Like Nick Cannon needs to stop having kids, man. Come on. But he can afford kids. You know what I'm saying? He's starting his own
Hey,
country.
hey, listen. We have to listen to our own advice. To each their own. If he wants to
Yeah,
have
no, yeah,
30
hey,
kids, let
that's
him
fine.
have
Yeah.
30 kids.
You know what I mean?
It
But
wouldn't
he's
be
in a
me.
position though. Like if he was broke, if he was in like say my shoes, I'd be crying.
But we would think that he would
I mean,
be
are you
smarter
pregnant
than that.
again? Are you kidding me? Oh my
But we
god.
would hope that he would be smarter than that. You're broke. You don't have a pot to
You
piss
know what I
in.
mean? I know
But
I'm
you're gonna have
joking and
12
being light
kids.
about it, but in all seriousness, like the circumstances are there, man. You can't take that lightly. Okay. Abortion is not a topic to be taken lightly. And nobody takes it lightly. Not the person having one, and we shouldn't take it lightly as a society.
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
should not be taking choices away from people like this. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening.
It's unjust. It's not fair. It's not right, because there are things that I may want to be taken away from extremists. But again, who am I to say what they can't have? And who are they to say what we can't have? I've heard some people say, listen, since they believe in so many things, guns, abortion, let's split up the states and put all of them in one state so they can commingle amongst each other and have your own beliefs with yourself. So you don't
Right.
have to see anybody else who doesn't believe what you believe. But that's fairy tale thinking. So
Yeah, they would find another reason to hate each other. That's what hateful
yeah,
people do.
that's true. That's true.
Hateful people hate all the time. Like hate is all consuming. Like when you hate, you're angry all the time. You're miserable. You know what I mean? Everything makes you upset. I mean,
It
it's a
takes
horrible
over
way to
your
live.
life. Yeah.
It does. It really does. It takes over your mind, your soul, and it just brings you down to a level that honestly a level that shouldn't exist in 2023, but it does. It really
I constantly have to smack myself and ask myself, is it 2023? I mean, I know I'm old, but is this 2023? I
we're
mean,
going backwards.
damn.
We are going backwards as a society. I mean, I hope and pray that we come out of this okay. I think we will, because I think the next election, like I think we talked about it before, is like 14, 16, 18 million new young voters that'll be eligible to vote in the 2024 primary. And that's not good for the extremist Republicans right now because they're not having it. You know what I mean? Kids want their rights. They want rights to their bodies. They want to be told what to do, and that is, I think, freaking them out. But the 2024 election is going to say a lot. But until then, we're screwed
Yeah.
unless we can somehow figure a way to get people out of office, which I don't know if that's even possible. I'm not even familiar with that.
Well, one thing that's possible is to fight and to continue to fight all the way until election in 2024.
Yeah, let's keep spreading the truth, man. I think we're past that age of just that the lies and deceit are out in the open now. So I'm hoping we're coming into an
Right.
age of truth.
Right.
I really hope we're about to have like a revolution of truth. That's what I hope for.
Right. I think many Americans are at that point where enough is enough. The lying is enough. The sabotage, the cheating, the hate, the hatred. It's all
Mm-mm.
enough. And I think
But
many
there's
are actually seeing it's leading us down that dark road. It's not getting us better as a country and as a people.
no, and I just propose this for people that are like independent and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's there's a how do I explain this? um, yeah, go ahead. I totally lost my train of thought. I had something good,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll save it for later.
Well,
I'll
I
save it.
think that's good enough for this week's week in review. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more happening this week that we'll be able to discuss next week.
Nah,
All
hopefully,
right.
some good news. Hopefully, some good news.
Hopefully, some good news. But as they say, if you at first don't succeed, try again. So if we don't have any good news next week, we just look forward to the week after. But there is good news in one thing that we can all share, and that's that by the graces of God, we all woke up today to be able to complain.
Yeah. I need it. This is like therapy for me.
All right.
It's
Nothing
cathartic.
wrong with that. All
No.
right, my friends. The week has already started. And so I hope you have a blessed week free from stress and anxiety, or at least as low as you can get it from stress and anxiety,
Mm.
and more smiles and self care. You have any last final thoughts, Jeremy?
Uh, just yeah, I think even though there's all this chaos and nonsense going on, that I think there is a chance for us to unite like never before. Just remember, for every one hateful person out there, there's 4 or 5 of us that actually believe in what this country's supposed to stand for, which is freedom and equality and unity. And I think we have an opportunity to do that if we do it correctly. Um, so I think, yeah, unity in America is possible. I think it will get worse before it gets better, but I think good things are coming. There's been some damage done, and it's going to take some time for it to heal, but I think good things will come from it if we elect the correct people. That is the
Right,
key. It all
right.
comes down to us. It comes down to the people.
Right. And I like the fact that you continuously focus on that word unity. Um
Hmm.
may none of us become um uninterested or down and out and depressed over the fact that there are many out there that want disunity, that want to divide us, divide and conquer. May no one give up and keep their eye on that prize. And what that prize is democracy and freedom for all. And we'll
Hmm.
only get that as long as we stay unified. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So next
All
week we
righty.
doing in the morning next week.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to chime in a little
Okay.
earlier before the day starts. Jeremy, why don't you remind the audience what your handle is?
Oh, Instagram and Facebook is just SGT nobody 77. And I'm also on Clapper. It's the same thing. So,
Okay.
yeah, Clapper's Day, if anybody's not familiar with it, it's just kind of a TikTok alternative that just came out. It's only got a couple million downloads, I think, but it's not bad. It's not bad. There's
Okay.
some trolls on there, but it's not bad. It's not
Okay.
bad. I'm enjoying it.
Sounds good. Sounds
So,
good. So, audience, you heard what he said. If you have a question, if you'd like to reach out to him on any of his comments that he's made on today's show, until then, we will see you back here a week from today as we go through our weekly week in review. Remember, positive mindsets leads to positive outcomes. Due diligence. Due diligence always trumps laziness, and good health supports due diligence. If you have a goal or an accomplishment that you've achieved today, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it.